Hello everybody, I am Sistaslayage and welcome to my channel. I am coming to you today with a very quick tips video on how to find the perfect eyeshadow palette. Currently, the beauty community is running and raving about a new product every week, and sometimes our judgment can get a little cloudy because we think that every single palette we have to have. We watch videos, we watch reviews, and we're like, okay, I gotta have this, I gotta have that. But I am gonna show you how to determine what palettes you need and what palettes you don't. So if you wanna learn how to pick out the perfect eyeshadow palette for you, stay tuned. The first step to determining which eyeshadow palette is for you and if it's a must-have is how do you love that product. And you're probably like, okay, love, like, of course I loved it, I bought it. But think about how many things you said you loved and you bought it and you didn't necessarily use it. So this is going to help you determine if you're truly going to use the product. Love is an acronym. It's something I created that's going to help you determine, do you need this palette or not? So the first part of love is longevity. Longevity meaning how long does the product wear on your eyes? Is it a long wearing product or does it fade away within a matter of hours? That determines if you want to buy it because it's just the quality of the product. Also, how long has that product been on the market? Some eyeshadow palettes are limited edition and once you run out, that's it. So you want to look at longevity. Is it something that you're going to have on for a long period of time? Is it a lot of product that's going to last you for a while? And also, the moment you run out of your eyeshadow, is it going to be easy to replace? What's the longevity of the eyeshadow palette in the marketplace? So you definitely want to take that into consideration because there's nothing more frustrating than finding something that you love and you can't buy it anywhere because it was limited edition, and they no longer make the product. So in order to avoid that, do your research and find out if it is L, there's some longevity into it. In it. So the next thing is O. O stands for organized. How organized is this palette? And I have an example here. I've had it in my hand for the past few seconds, I had it in my hand, and this is the MAC Neutral Warm 15 palette. I want to show you what I mean when I say a palette that's organized. This is a perfect example of a organized palette. It is dirty as I don't know what because I use her religiously. This is my second one, so when it comes to longevity, this is a good palette. It's been on the market for years, so easy to replace. But back to being organized. It's very organized because on a morning where, let's say if I oversleep, I can look at this palette and say, you know what? I want a neutral eyeshadow look. I ain't got time. Then I know I need to stay on this side of the palette. Let's say I want to get sexy and go twerk after work. I know that I can go on this side of the palette because they're darker and more dramatic and vampy colors. So organization is going to help you determine how important this palette is to you when it comes to determining, okay, am I going to take 3 minutes doing my makeup or am I going to spend 30 minutes trying to look through a 60 eyeshadow palette to find what I want to look like today? So the more organized the palette is, the easier it is for you to transition from one end to another and determine how you want to look. The third part of the acronym is value and versatility. How valuable is this palette? And when I say value, I mean the value proposition. Is it cheaper to buy individual shadows or is it cheaper to buy the palette? The best way to calculate that is determine how much each brand charges for one individual shadow versus how much you're paying for the palette. Back to the 15 Neutral Warm palette, baby. The reason why this palette has a good value proposition because the average MAC eyeshadow, it ranges anywhere from $7 to $18.50. You can do the math. So there are 15 eyeshadows in here. So if you buy each color individually, you've bought the palette twice. So it's much better to just buy the eyeshadow palette. So you want to make sure that whatever palette you choose, no matter what the brand is, There's a good value proposition there, and the palette is worth the money. The second part of V is versatile, versatility. How versatile is this palette? This palette is a perfect example of versatile palette, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because these shimmery shades here can be used, well, not that one. Oh God, not that one. But these can be used as highlights. I've used them as highlights before, especially Amber Lights, honey, she bussin'. And these could be used as contours on the end here. So when you buy an eyeshadow palette, because the average person is not going to spend $500 on a makeup budget. You want one product to serve a lot of purposes. So the more versatile your eyeshadow palette is, the more you're gonna love it. And the final one, E. Ease of everyday use. How easy is this palette to use? And when I say that, I mean the actual formula itself. Is it hard to blend? If it's a shimmery shade, are there big chunky specks of glitter that settle into fine lines? These are all things that determine how you feel about an eyeshadow palette. Think about it. If there's something that's difficult to do or difficult to use, as a human, I mean, we all do it. You're not going to want to fool with the eyeshadow palette. So you want to make sure that this is something that you can use with great ease every day. And that way, if you love an eyeshadow palette, you're definitely going to use it. So the next time you go shopping for any eyeshadow palettes, think about my acronym: LOVE, longevity, organize, value and versatility, and ease of everyday use. If the next eyeshadow palette you buy have an answer to all of those questions, then you may have found your perfect eyeshadow palette. Do you like other videos like this? If so, comment, let me know. Like and subscribe. And thank you for your time. Have a wonderful day. Happy shopping.